Welcome to Beyond Selling, the podcast where we dive deep into the strategies and stories that drive not just transactions but transformations. I'm your host, Aaryendr, and the topic for today is the grind and the growth. Aspiration, perspiration, and desperation is about the raw, often unglamorous journey from wanting something to achieving something. And who better to guide us through this landscape than someone who hasn't just seen it but has been instrumental in shaping the growth of thousands of people out there. Introducing Aditi. My guest for today is a true veteran of the learning and development domain. With over 20 years of experience, she has navigated the complex world of BFSI and education, bringing her unique insights into corporate training, skill development, and executive coaching. She understands the aspiration that drives a high performer, the perspiration required to master a new skill, and even the moments of desperation that push us to innovate or pivot. Please join us in giving a warm welcome to Aditi. Aditi, it's a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you so much, Aaryendr, for inviting me on this platform. And I look forward to having a good amount of candid conversation with you.
So, Aditi, to begin with my first question for you, as an L&D leader, you're constantly working with people who are looking to grow. How do you define aspiration in a professional context? Is it just about goals or is it more than that?
Thank you so much for your question, Aaryendr. Aspirations are like dreams. And one very interesting thing about aspirations and dreams are they are boundless. We don't have a defined boundaries on how aspirations should be or on how our dreams should be. They just come to us. We as L&D professionals need to understand how people grow in life. At any point in time, your aspirations or your dreams do not remain constant. The moment you achieve something, you aspire for more. So it's
True.
continuous growth, it's continuous development, it's continuous prioritization of what you want in life. So we as L&D professionals need to know and understand how a person evolves in his or her life. What are their priorities? How well do they understand things? And our aim should be to make them complete individuals. Complete in the sense of they being able to recognize their talents, they being able to manifest what is it is their actual calling, and they being able to realize their true potentials. I think if we as L&D professionals can do that, we have already achieved what we intend to achieve.
I think that's really well put, I would say, wherein you're saying that L&D helps people achieve their dreams and aspirations. Now that we have talked a little bit about aspirations, we often talk about the grind or perspiration. What's your perspective on the role of hard work and deliberate practice in achieving professional goals? How do you see it playing out in the careers of people you coach?
While we are in the age of instant noodles, there is nothing that happens or there's nothing that gets made in 2 minutes.
True.
So, grind is something which is a part of you becoming the best version of yourself. It will not happen unless and until you grind yourself. And that grind will definitely help you in terms of making yourself realize your true potential and also acknowledging the fact that it has come after a long amount of hard work and patience. So it will help you stabilize as an individual itself. I feel if anything comes to you by sheer luck, it won't sustain with you for long because you won't be able to handle. It's like power, right? Once you get that power, you also need to, have those guts and have those kind of caliber to be able to sustain and maintain it. Same thing is with knowledge. The more knowledgeable you become, the more humble you become, because then you know it's very little that you know. And therefore, it's important for you to work hard. It's important for you to realize that not everybody is as lucky as you who is getting a chance to at least work hard. So, working hard is no substitute to anything in life. You will have to work hard to be able to achieve something in life. And that's
Yeah,
my
I
take.
agree to the point that working hard is a mandate. But see, when we talk about aspiration, which are your dreams, and then you also put in a lot of effort to achieve that dream, you would slog hours and hours to achieve the goal that you have set in mind. But there's also an element that is desperation that kind of comes in if you're not successful. Okay. So, desperation itself is a very powerful word. Can desperation be a positive catalyst for change and growth? Or is it always a negative force? In your experience, what are some of the signs that a professional is in the state of desperation? And how does that show up in their work or in their mindset?
Depends on where the desperation is coming from and at what stage. So, if your desperation is towards the end outcome, it's not right because the end is not in your hands. If it is a part of the journey, and if the desperation is a level of being consistent towards your achievement of your goals and aims, then you're on the right path. So if the desperation is towards achievement of one particular objective, that come what may, I will get that. Whether it is right, it is wrong, whether it is impactful, it is ineffective, no matter what, that is madness, running towards madness. But if the desperation is in the journey itself of achieving more and more, gaining more and more for yourself in order to become better for yourself, then it is one step towards success. Because ultimately, what you will achieve in life is dependent upon, yes, your hard work, your inputs that you give, but it is also dependent upon what in that journey towards achievement of your goal you as a person have become. And that ultimately defines whether you are successful or you are unsuccessful. It's not the object, it's not the goal which defines you, it's what you become at the end of the journey is what defines you.
I think that's a really nice way to look at it, wherein you're not talking just about achieving the end result, but also the transformation that it brings in an individual while you're going through that grind and the process of it. So, Aditi, we have been discussing about the different concepts of aspiration, perspiration, and desperation. Now, let's connect those concepts to L&D. Okay. So, how can organizations and L&D programs help employees navigate these cycles of aspiration, perspiration, and even desperation? What kind of support is the most effective for the employees?
Pareda, when we talk about curating L&D programs, we as professionals need to be very clear on what is the end objective or outcome that we expect from the L&D programs. In person, when I curate L&D programs, I always align them to the a business objective or business goal. We as L&D people need to feel that we are business units in itself. And that is how we function or we work. We have to showcase what has been the outcome or what has been the effectiveness of the program to the people in behavioral terms. In case if it's monetary, it can be monetary or measurable. Then monetary terms, we have to define what we are here to do. How are we upscaling or upskilling people? So alignment to business objectives is one thing. Second, what we should do is we should also try and align the competencies that our people currently have, how useful these competencies are towards the achievement of business goals, and what all competencies are required to be upskilled. That assessment needs to be there. Unless and until that assessment is there, it is going to be of no good use because then you will not be able to measure on a scale of X to Y where did you start off with and where are you going to end with. That is the second. So assessments do play a very important role. Third is anything and everything which is substantial enough for an organization to grow is walk the talk. So when you have the leaders portraying the right kind of behaviors, entertaining the right kind of actions and attitudes, that's where the entire circle grows. Walk the talk by the senior leaders, getting the buy-in of the leadership programs from the top management, and that is how it flows to the bottom. We'll make sure that the L&D programs that we curate have the blessings of the right people. And with the right perspective and the right objective in mind, definitely it is going to make sure that they achieve the desired outcome. The next most important thing is that you have to be consistent and continuous in your efforts. With just one program, two programs here and there off the cuff, they're not going to solve your problems because a continuous reiteration needs to be there for people to make sustainable changes. People need to realize I need to change, and that is when the change will happen. It's only on the basis of their realization, and their realization won't happen in just one or two attempts. You will
Yes.
have to make it on a continuous basis by different methodologies because people are different, their way of learning is different, their experiences are different. And when you attach learnings to experiences, people are more receptive. So, while curating learning programs, it is important that you put in the factor of realizations as one of the component to make sure that people realize, understand, and then they follow. So that's from my side in
Yes.
terms of what you can do to help curate effective programs.
So I think you've really framed it well, wherein you said that realization is an important element when it comes to L&D programs, because in most of the organizations, L&D is more about a push approach, wherein you're just assigning courses that you need to do X, Y, Z, get certified in the given time frame, and that's it. But there's no element of realization. It's more of like, okay, it's a to-do task for everyone that I need to complete it. So realization definitely plays an important role. Okay. Now, for someone who's listening to this podcast and feels that they're stuck in the state of desperation with their career, what's that one practical, actionable step that they can take today to shift their mindset, considering that there are layoffs happening or people aren't really getting promoted in the given organization, even after doing all the initiatives or the tasks that were assigned to them?
So, Arinder, I must tell this to you as we share a lot in terms of our conversations with people. We see people day in and day out. We see professionals day in and day out. And we see desperate people. We see people who really want a job somehow, anyhow. But what makes a competent person different from amongst the entire crowd of people vying for a job is the level of security. Level of security means the mental security that you have, the kind of belief in yourself that no matter what may happen, no matter what happens in life, I'll do something good for myself. And that stems from the fact that the person is confident about his education. A person is competent enough to understand what it takes to be successful. The person knows what he or she is into. That belief in the competence, that belief in his or herself is what stands out in the crowd. So when you shred away that feeling of insecurity that is instilled there just because you have given uh, you know 10, 20 interviews and you are not fitting in, you are not getting calls from there. It's not about your competence. Sometimes it's not just aligned, the job descriptions are not aligned to your personalities. Sometimes you're not just the right fit. So patience is something which should be there in any profession because something better is there for you always. And that is the manifestation that everybody should be doing every day of their lives. Practically nothing is there in your control. Whatever he has decided for you up there, he knows the entire story, he knows the entire concept, and he will wade you through. And that's the belief that you should have that, I did what I could do from my end 100% perfect. Then you should leave it on God that He will take care of. And that's where the confidence comes from. That I am confident of myself, I'm confident of what I'm good at. It's just a matter of time. You just have to give yourself that patience level, that time for yourself in order to be able to achieve what is out there for you. Then it's just a matter of grabbing that. This is something that you should look out.
So I would say with hard work and aspiration, patience also becomes one of the core elements for success, because you might not get success immediately, but within few months or few years, after all the due diligence and hard work, it will come to you as you had hoped for.
Absolutely. That's what has been my experience. And I'm sure people would also resonate to it.
So, Aditi, this has been an incredibly insightful conversation, moving from the vision of aspiration to the hard work of perspiration and even acknowledging the tough moments of desperation. To close out our discussion and considering your 2 decades of experience helping individuals and organizations grow, if you had to distill all of that down to one essential, non negotiable principle for anyone currently in the grind who wants to achieve significant growth, what would be the principle? Is it about skills, mindset, network, or something else entirely?
Skills, non negotiable. You need to have the requisite skill set in order to be able to match up to the energies that are out there, in order to tap the potential. You need to have those skills. So that is one. It is a non-negotiable thing. Networking, if you talk about networking has always been into the game. You cannot just hide yourself behind the rugs or you can hide behind in the covers or the shelves. You need to come out in the open, showcase your talent. It's not just about the skill. It's also about the talent to showcase your talent that will help achieve what you intend to achieve for yourself. So, yes, upskilling is non negotiable, but also showcasing it to the world that this is where it is, this is where you are, and this is what you do. You need to tell people because there are umpteen number of competitors out there who are vying for acknowledgement, who are vying for attention. So, who has the time in this world to look at you who is just sitting in one corner? So, it is also important for you to come out in the open and bask in the glory because this is what is required at this point in.
Aditi, this is a fantastic principle to end on. Thank you so much for sharing your wealth of experience. You have given our listeners a lot of concrete wisdom to take back to their own professional lives. It's in the persistent effort, the willingness to learn, and the courage to show up every single day, even when the grind feels overwhelming. A huge thank you to you again, Aditi, for being our guest
Thank
today.
you so
And
much.
to you, our listeners, thank you for joining us on Beyond Selling. Thank you, Aditi, for this.
Thank you, Aaryendr.